Good day, Father Matt Williams here in my parked car. Snow is still here, so don't worry. Hope you're well. Sorry for the dirty van beside me. Okay, yesterday we spoke about prayer, begging God for special graces, in particularly begging God for the grace to live for heaven. We by nature we're natural, we're earthly, and it takes the grace of God to live above our earthly reality. In other words, to live for heaven and to walk with God in His grace. It takes a grace, and we have to beg God for that grace every day. Today I'd like to talk about begging God for the grace to overcome ourselves. We have a fallen human nature, okay? We're all born into this world which is racked by original sin. We all have a fallen human nature, which means that our body and our souls at times rebel against God's Spirit. They rebel against what is true and good and beautiful, how we're called to live as God's beloved children. Just to use an example, it doesn't mean that we're all bad. Like everything God creates is good, right? God, and when He created man and woman, it says that that man and woman are very good. Okay, so we are very good, and we're fallen because we are racked by original sin. We have concupiscence, and the word concupiscence means that we're inclined to sin, okay? So our human nature is fallen. We're inclined to sin. Just a little story, right? So at one of these snowstorms, my neighbors were away, and so my dad and I went across the street and shoveled my neighbor's driveway, plowed it and shoveled it and just cleaned it up. And trying to do something really nice and a good thing, taking care of your neighbor. They're going to be away for a week, and etc. And what I found happening as we're doing this is like all these thoughts coming in saying like, wow, aren't I really great helping out a neighbor like this, right? These thoughts, like, where did that come from? Or just other things of like, wow, I hope they're appreciative of what we've done for them. All these thoughts coming through. And it's like this need for me, it's pride, this need to be honored, to be somebody, right? All this stuff's kicking in. I'm like, I'm trying to do a good act, and here I am now trying to milk this good act to make myself look better, that people would respect me or look up to me a little differently or whatever it is. Like all this stuff getting fed. I'm like, what on earth? Where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? We find this with like food. I love talking about food, right? And, we desire to eat and overeat and just and be consumed by food and always looking for the next thing that's going to feed us and satisfy us. And these are just a couple of the examples, but it just goes to show how our human nature is fallen, right? I love the line, right? Do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? In other words, like, where are you putting food in your life, right? Are you seeking food and making it a god and like you live to eat? Or is food a gift for you so that you can continue to live your life glorifying God, right? Not saying don't enjoy good meals. It's a good holy thing. Remember, heaven's like a banquet, a wedding banquet, right? So food's not negative, but like, where's our priorities? And so our desires, body and soul, our flesh, we're fallen, right? We're fallen and we're weak. And so now we need to beg God for the grace to overcome our inclination to sin, to overcome our desires that go astray and awry, to overcome our radical impulses, to overcome our fear. We have to beg God for the grace every day to overcome ourselves and to be ruled by true freedom, which is guided by love and truth. We want to be free. So I just want to say today that like those desires and fears that you have, that comes with being a human person, okay? A fallen nature, in a fallen world. That's the reality of how we live our day. And we can see the effects of a fallen nature all around us, okay? That's a reality of being a human being today, okay? But here's the thing. God's grace is sufficient. My grace is sufficient. My grace is enough, the Lord Jesus says. But we got to beg Him for the grace, and we got to want the grace to cooperate with it to overcome ourselves. So beg God every day for the grace to live for heaven, our true home. Beg God for the grace, for whatever virtues you need to overcome your fallen human nature. Beg Him. That's what the saints did. And look, it worked. They begged God for the grace, and they lived heroic lives of self-mastery, discipline, virtue. God bless you.